Wasting money on cures. Forgot how to fix myself. They say that time is free. Then why is it so precious? Oh, I'll save memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. Time is running out. Time is running out. Lately I've lost my track. I've sailed the deeper seas, hoping to find something to bring back better times. Oh, I'll save memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. But time is running out. 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 Time is running. Time is running out. Time is running out. What if my best days are over? They can't be over. They can't be over now. Time is running out. What if my best days are over? They can't be over now. Time is running out. Time is running out. Time is running out.
Afternoon, everyone. It's Jim here. Welcome to the first of two sessions that we're going to run, sort of like a general warm-up for paper 1, which is based on theme 1 and theme 4 for Edexcel A-level business. Graham is with me. Good afternoon, Graham.
Afternoon, Jimmy. You okay?
Yeah, good, mate. We've got quite a challenging session here, haven't we? About 30 minutes or so.
Actually, 30 minutes, yeah. 35 minutes.
Joe's asking, how long is this stream going to be? About that long, I'd say.
Yeah, but yeah, that long, maybe that long.
And bang on time. Lots of people joining us live, so welcome if you're joining us live. I know lots of people watch this on catch-up, so if that's you, don't forget you've got the advantage. You can pause the video, can't you? Maybe give yourself a bit more time. Should we do a big reveal, G, whilst we get going?
Let's do that. So, yes, so under the question mark is the name of a business. All you have to do is work it out from the clues presented. So, clue number 1, it was founded in 1910. So, if you're sat there thinking, I know a business but was founded in 1911, too late. This was founded in 1910. I can't tell you where it's founded. That would give the game away, wouldn't it?
Somebody did say, I think last week at Grade Booster Graham, that what they appreciated about the live streams was it's the same jokes every time, including on the big reveal.
Every time, yeah. This guy said it's the same jokes every time, and it's not. It's not. It's privately owned by 2 brothers. Oh, wow. So, 2 brothers. No, it's not Ford. It's not Dunlop. Clue number 3. Specialises in luxury goods. That rules Dunlop out. And McDonald's. No, not McDonald's.
I think we might get to clue 5.
Yeah, we might do. Yeah.
Luxury goods, that presumably means that it's inelastic price, inelastic demand.
I would imagine their customers are less sensitive to price.
Yeah.
Not the cost, not Louis Vuitton. We're talking luxury goods. Louis Vuitton, they went downhill a long time ago.
Did they?
So, yeah. It's a French fashion house. Now, it's not Gucci. So I'm a big. I really love this brand. You know, it's really, really good. It's not Rolex, Marks and Spencer. No, not Marks and Spencer. Good guess, though. Now, I think some of us will get a clue number 5. And would you believe clue number 5 is number 5 perfume?
There we go. Is it
No, I
boots?
think I should
No.
give the game away now. Should give the game away now.
That clue number 5 was a bit of a letdown, to be honest with you, G. I think that's you know what I mean. It wasn't the best.
Chanel.
Yeah, Sheila was the first in the live chat who got that. Well done.
Yeah. No Prada. I just bought myself some Prada shoes actually recently. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. I like to treat myself once in a while. Yeah, it was Chanel, and it wasn't Yves Saint Laurent. No.
Luke said it from the start. It was Chanel, but he didn't post it to the live chat.
You might have said it, but we can't hear you, Luke. So use the chat window.
So let's get into it then. So this session's it's pick and mix from a variety of topics in theme 1, bit of theme 4 as well.
Theme 1 and theme 4.
Here we go. Do the first one, G.
So due to increased competition in one of its markets, a business has decided to expand by selling its existing products overseas. This is an example of A, B, C, or D. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ansos Matrix is on theme 3, but it also makes an appearance on theme 4 in a global context.
It does.
So, oh, sorry about that.
Is that somebody? Is that Luke saying?
That's Luke saying, why didn't you not? Sorry about that. Shame on me. There we go.
Most people going for C on this one. Archie and others. Roxy, Mary, Giles going for C.
Yeah, shall we have a look?
Let's have a look.
Yeah, it is a push factor. So saturated markets and competition are on the spec as a push factor. So factors that would push a business.
Yeah.
To maybe move rather than pulling them. So, and it's market development, which is an existing product in a new market. So, yeah, push factor and market development.
That's often a factor, isn't it? Particularly when it comes to theme 4. You know, your domestic market is saturated, increased competition, low growth. You look for more exciting opportunities elsewhere. It could be it could be overseas, or it could be in a different market altogether.
Definitely.
Okay, I'll do this one, G. So the product of a business product A has a low market share in a high growth market. So that should enable us to pick one of the 4 dimensions in the Boston matrix. And we're told that to increase price, the business is considering a change in price to be more in line with rivals. So that's some combination of competitive or penetration pricing or psychological pricing. And, which one of the Boston matrix categories does that form into? Lots of people would have been revising Boston Matrix.
Yeah. It has been examined once before. I think it was during COVID when there was the October and November papers. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. 2020 and 2021. And let's have a look. I and Dan, Alex, and others are all going for A. And I think if it was me, I'd go for A as well. Let's have a look. It is indeed A. Yeah, it's a question mark, isn't it? So a question mark, sometimes otherwise known as a problem child, depending on which version of the Boston Matrix you revise, basically says we ought to be doing maybe better than we are. It could be a big opportunity for us. So if the market is growing quick, high growth, if our market share has a low relative market share, that suggests that it could turn into a star, but it hasn't yet done so. But it might not, so it's a question mark. Competitive pricing is where you essentially base your pricing around those of your nearest rivals or competitors.
Right. Yeah. So just when this was examined, Jim, if I remember rightly, it was a sweet manufacturer, and they'd recognised that one of their lollies, the traffic light lolly, was a dog.
Okay.
And I think it was about assessing what they should do with that. Now remember, dogs, low market share, low growth, but they can still be profitable depending on the size of the market, isn't it? It could be. Well done, everyone. Well done. So 2 statements here. Polycentric marketing is where a business tailors its product to each market. Is that true or false? The formula to calculate PED is percentage change in price divided by percentage change in quantity demanded. PED was examined last year. Doesn't mean it won't be examined this year. Polycentric marketing, they tend to lend themselves to 20 more questions, Jim. Yeah. So a business wants to launch overseas. Should it use polycentric or ethnocentric or something like that? So So I think we're split between A and B. So what we're saying is, if we're saying A and B, a lot of people think it seems to be statement 2 that's causing the problems. Of course, we're not sure whether statement. If we all say an A or B, we believe that statement 1 is true. And one DJ mixer on the ones and twos there has come in with a formula as if to strengthen his argument. Should we reveal the answer? Yeah, so statement 2 was false. It's the wrong way around. It's percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. It's a common mistake that. Duck on pond, and that's how I used to teach it. Duck on pond. Q before you pee.
Got to know that formula, haven't we? Got to know it
Got to
for
know that
next week.
formula. Have to know that formula.
Yeah, really important.
Okay.
Right, so I'll do this one. So 2 statements here. Running and expanding a business. Is that a role of an entrepreneur, true or false? Thinking about your specification. Statement 2, a product with an income elasticity of demand coefficient or YED coefficient of -2. Is that classed as a normal good? So again, each is either true or false. Have a go.
So this also appears on the paper 3 pre-release, entrepreneurs in the music industry. So remember, there are 3 areas: a role of an entrepreneur, characteristics of an entrepreneur, developing from entrepreneur to leader. So we really, really need to be on top of entrepreneurs.
I'm glad that one DJ Mixer One's in the live chat today, because providing some fantastic backup. Obviously, if you had MCQs, which we don't in Edexcel, you wouldn't even need to justify your answer, but it's good to see that the answer is indeed B. Yeah, statement 1 is true. The role of an entrepreneur, it's not a characteristic of an entrepreneur, running and expanding a business. That's what they do. And statement 2, -2 would suggest that as incomes rise, quantity demanded would fall. Well, that's not a normal good. Normal goods, you would expect quantity demanded to rise as incomes rise. So -2 indicates it's actually an inferior good, such as Brunwell's tomato ketchup. Just
From
plucking one example purely from thin air that I've never heard of before.
Yeah, so when incomes increased in Sunderland, which I was fortunate to benefit from, I switched from that to Heinz tomato ketchup, you see.
There you go.
So the quantity demanded of Heinz increased. The quantity demanded of Bramwell's or Brunwell's tomato ketchup. If you do get a question on Heinz, consult the source material.
Very good.
There you go.
Should we do one more?
So,
this is tricky.
It is tricky. So a UK car manufacturer exports 20% of its cars to Europe. Obviously, the UK, is in Europe, but we know what I mean. An appreciation of the pound against the euro may make their cars more expensive in Europe. True or false? Price is an element of the design mix. Design mix was again examined last year. There were 3 elements. It wasn't well answered, to be fair. So what do we think? True or false? There's an acronym, I believe. We did it in the workshops, didn't we? If you were lucky, if anyone was in the workshop, does anyone attend our workshops? Let us know in the chat window. That'd be really cool to see if you were there. Nice to meet you all. So a UK manufacturer exports 20% of its cars to Europe. An appreciation of the pound against the euro may make their cars more expensive. So I think the majority are going for Ben Jose there's put SPICE acronym in there. Price is the marketing mix. Sophie D, well done.
Should we have a look?
Well done. Yeah, let's have a look. So that one is true. Strong pound, imports cheap, exports dear. Now, when exchange rates are examined, they are frequently examined, to be fair, you need to go beyond just quoting the SPICE acronym. You need to say how and why. Strong pound leads to cheaper imports or dearer exports, not just say it does. Well, stable, excellent. I'm glad. I hope you found it enjoyable. And me and Kai and I, I hope you found it useful. So, someone must have the oven on because they're saying I'm cooked.
Must be. It's the only possible explanation, isn't it?
In the chat window. Is it cooked? Cooked.
It is where you are.
And statement 2 is false. It's economic, manufacture, function, and aesthetics.
Aesthetics was the one. Aesthetics was examined, wasn't it? Was it in the context of Samsung smartphones, from memory?
I think it was function.
Function.
It was one of those anyway. It was one of those, but definitely Samsung definitely was the definitely was a context. Now, a lot of students do get price and cost mixed up. So students are using those words interchangeably, and you really can't be doing that, because you might get a question on, which is a theme 4 concept, cost competitiveness in global markets. And if you confuse that with price competitiveness, you're in trouble. So make sure you do not confuse cost and price. They are 2 completely different concepts. Good stuff.
Yep. Time for a definition spinner. I know Razzie was asking for our spinners to be back, definition and application. So the good news for Razzie is that these feature. So we've got 6 topics drawn from theme 1 and theme 4. And let's spin the wheel, shall we? It's amazing, people who are slightly worried about exams coming next week, it's amazing how much you can get done in the last few days. It really is. Never ceases to amaze us. So it's about just focusing and just doing as much as you can. Offshoring is the term. So I'll look in the live chat, G, maybe give people a few seconds to, if they want to have a go at typing in what their definition of offshoring is. Even better, give me an example.
Yeah, okay. So obviously it's often confused with another term that sounds very similar, but is different. So offshoring, when a firm moves their production process abroad, that is one reason potentially to lower their cost of production. China used to be the one of the main benefits of that. So we need to be familiar how that links with FDI. Offshoring it, that's really good answers. Good. I'm glad to see, Jim, it's not been confused with outsourcing.
Yep.
Which always the potential. I don't think offshoring's been examined yet. I mean, that does mean it will be, but I can't remember. I went through all the papers again yesterday.
Daniel's adding in some great such as seasoning here.
Such as cheaper labour costs and other developing economies. Well done. So I think we looked at last year when the pre-release was on the clothing industry, how a lot of clothing manufacturers, Vietnam seems to be the place for clothing. They've got really specialised skills over there. So some great stuff there. Yeah, a big shout out to Mrs. Wilford there. So offshoring involves the relocation. We'll put that in bold just to emphasise the point of business activities from the home country to a different international location, such as seasoning, a UK factory moving its operation to Poland. Wasn't there a chocolate manufacturer who did that?
It used to be one of my clients, yes, Nestle.
Yeah,
moved the Kit Kat line to
and the blue
Poland.
ribbon, the blue ribbon. Yeah, blue ribbon. James
I think
Godfrey.
the other thing to do is it can be if you offshore it and outsource it at the same time, that's possible. So you might move production away from the UK, but to somebody else's factory. Let's say it's a factory in Vietnam or factory in Poland. That would be both, wouldn't it? That would be offshoring and outsourcing. So outsourcing is about getting somebody else, a third party, to do something for you. But it's often also done at the same time as offshoring.
It is. Great stuff.
Good stuff. James Godfrey asking for a shout out. We don't normally do those kind of things, do we? But just for once.
I've already given one.
Oh, right. Okay. I missed that.
Shout out to Mr. Godfrey. Teacher Hill House.
It is Mr. Godfrey. There we go.
Oh, hello, Mr. Godfrey.
So I think it's time for a calculation. We've got a couple of these, haven't we? So here's our mini case. Now, by the time we've introduced it, normally there's a couple of very, very sharp, accurate people who've given me the answer. So let's see if we can quickly go through this. Brewed Awakening, surprisingly, is a pun-laden coffee shop located in Sunderland. What's happened? Incomes in the local area have increased from 30,000 to 31,500. And perhaps as a consequence, the number of cups of coffee sold per week at Brewed Awakening has increased from 600 to 672. So with that data, you should have enough remembering the formula to calculate the YED coefficient. So as the answers start to come in, let's start the clock.
Okay. Yeah, great stuff there, yeah. I thought I'd went to that coffee shop before, but I think it was just Deja Brew. So answers coming in there.
Now, I think the positive and negative is important on YED, isn't it? Income elasticity.
Yeah. If you think it's so Harry Miles there. I don't know if you've put minus 2.4 or you're just trying to separate the YED from the number there. So I don't know. So lots coming through with the plus 2.4. So because what we're seeing, aren't we? We're seeing clearly when incomes increase, the quantity demanded increases. So it has to be plus. If the incomes increased, the quantity demanded fell, then it would be an inferior good.
Wasn't Harry Miles in Wrong Direction, that band?
No. It was Barry Styles. Barry Styles. He's a solo artist now, in Barry Styles. Yeah, Barry Styles. Yeah, Sophie Mac. Don't worry, we will go through how to work it out.
Giant number of there's not the first giant, but it's good to see a nice. What we're seeing in the live chat, which is great stuff as well, is not just a number, but also a little bit of explanation.
Yeah. Yeah, I when I went to get a coffee when we were in White City, they asked they didn't say whether I wanted a small, medium, large. They used Venti and Grande, I think,
Yeah.
and I just said, so so we are seeing the luxurization, is that a word even, of coffee to maybe to make customers less price sensitive. Let's okay, so we got the formula: percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. So we've worked out the percentage change in quantity demand at 12%. We've worked out the percentage change in income at 5%. 12 divided by 5 is plus 2.4. Now, we did a lot of this in the workshops. So what we need to be familiar with is the fact that for every 1% increase in income in Sunderland, Brewed Awakening, the coffee in Brewed Awakening will increase by 2.4%. So for every 1% increase in income, the coffee in Brewed Awakening will increase by 2.4%. If income's decreased, then obviously the opposite would happen. But in this case, thanks for the feedback, Joshua. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. So hopefully Sophie, I think it was Sophie Mac.
Yeah. So they're working out. Yeah.
Got there. So that's how you
Of
work
course,
it out.
you could reverse that, couldn't you? You could say an implication of a worsening economic situation as incomes fall. If the income elasticity demand is that, then you would expect demand to fall significantly. So a 5% fall in income should result in a 12% reduction in quantity demanded.
Yeah, I think what we're finding, Jim, is if you look at the coffee and tea market, as which I mean, I lose sleep over it. To be fair, tea is becoming a bit of an inferior good. It seems that when people earn more money, they tend to switch from tea or coffee. Now, some people are very loyal to tea or coffee, but tea is seen to be that's why many tea brands are launching herbal teas and infusions to try and extend the life cycle of tea. We are becoming a nation of coffee drinkers.
Yeah, no bad thing.
There we go.
In my view. Love coffee, me. Let's do an application spinner. We've done a definition spinner. So we've got 6 different businesses. And the idea of the application spinner is that the question should be specific, should be relevant to the context given, in this case, a particular industry or business. One answer shouldn't be applicable, shouldn't work for any of those businesses listed. So as we spin the wheel, let's have a look which comes up with. It normally lands on Greg's, but not today.
Oh, Nissan.
It's either Greg's or Nissan normally, to be fair. So how might market segmentation benefit Nissan? So market segmentation, dividing a market up into segments, and segments are based on different customer needs, different customer wants, different bases of segmentation, aren't they? You can base them on income, geography, demographics, buying behavior. So lots of different ways of segmenting or splitting a big market up.
Yeah, it's interesting.
How might a use of that concept really help Nissan?
And that would be different from Greg's, wouldn't it? Or IKEA or Marks and Spencer or Sky.
Yeah. Let's put Harry, having lauded his contributions earlier. So he's gone with dividing the market into distinct groups. That's showing good knowledge and understanding of segmentation.
Yeah.
E.g. by age, income, lifestyle, geography, even better. Nissan can tailor, I like that word, tailor, its marketing messages and product offerings such as EV cars. What a terrific answer that one is.
Yeah, I like Cossie's answer as well.
Yeah, let's stick Cossie's on. Cossie's always, always, I can say nearly always high quality responses. Go through that one, G. What do you think to that?
Yeah. So we can see. Sorry, I lost my pen there. Nissan can use it to target different customers in the market efficiently. For example, 7-seaters to those larger families, while targeting smaller families with other cars. Yeah, so it's, they do a range of cars, don't they? For like urban drivers, maybe electric vehicles for the people who are more environmentally conscious. Like you, Jim, you drive an electric vehicle, don't you?
I do.
You do. Yeah.
I do.
So you're pushing it to the charging station the other week. So we use the word driving loosely. So what shampoo do I use? I used to use Wash and Go. Now I just use Go. So larger families. So market segmentation could allow more targeted marketing for Nissan, such as promoting the Nissan Leaf to environmentally conscious drivers. So Nissan Leaf and drivers context. It could allow them to design and develop cars, more context, that meet the needs of specific groups of drivers, such as more fuel-efficient cars for urban drivers. Or do you know what? I really like that answer about the 7 seats for larger families.
Yeah.
Urban drivers, if you never really leave town, they want a more fuel-efficient car, perhaps, so you can target those people. and develop
The other-
cars that meet the needs of different people.
The other thing to note about the language in that box there, that example, is hedging words. So it could allow, not will allow, or will mean more targeted marketing. It could allow it. It's no guarantee that the marketing would be more effective.
Yeah.
But I like that phrase also earlier that came in from Harry about tailoring the marketing mix and the marketing message. I think that's a key thing. That explains how and why segmentation might benefit a business. Segmentation on its own isn't enough. You can split a market up, can't you? But it's what do you do about it?
Exactly.
How do you tailor your marketing mix, your marketing messaging? I like that. Really good.
Car market's a really good example for a market segmentation.
Yeah.
Really good.
We've got another calculation. Do you want to do this one, Jim?
Yeah, market share. So the table below shows the sales revenue of the 5 largest businesses in the market. And luckily for us, all these businesses are named after letters of the alphabet. So we've got business A to business E. So we've got the sales revenue of the businesses. We've got the total sales of all businesses in the market. Can you calculate the combined market share of the 5 businesses and write your answer to 2 decimal places? Now, paper one, do you want to start the music, Jim?
Yeah, sure.
So paper one is quite unusual. Some of the calculations, so you might get a calculation on ped or yed, but sometimes you get like a graph and maybe you have to work out a percentage change using quantitative data. So the calculations can be very varied on paper one. Wow, some very quick calculations already there, and it's good to see
some of them are to 2 decimal places as well.
Exactly. And that's what we wanted. If you didn't write it to 2 decimal places, you would have lost a mark there. Now, obviously, this is quite simplistic for this live stream.
Yeah.
Often when you get a market share question, you may be asked to calculate maybe the market share of a business in different years and then work out the difference. So just make sure you answer the questions. So when questions are asked about calculating the difference, a lot of students forget to do that. So they only get like 3 marks out of 4.
So there's 2 ways of losing marks on this, aren't there? One is not to 2 decimal places, and the other one would be not to using a percentage, because market share is expressed as a percentage. So it would be easier to slip a mark or 2 here.
Yeah. Should we run through the answer? I think everyone got it, didn't they?
Yeah, I think everyone's done well there.
Yeah. So obviously we combined sales revenue of the 5 largest businesses. We'll just add those up. Size of the market in 50 million, which were the market share is 73.76%. So I would imagine that market's probably got quite high barriers to entry. It means, maybe that might put off some smaller businesses. Having said that, there's what 78, 90, 27, 26% not accounted for. So maybe there's some wiggle room there.
It's a big old business. Just going back to, so business A is the market leader.
Yeah.
And business A has a market share of over 25%, doesn't it? It's over a quarter.
Yeah.
So, and some distance bigger, 70 million bigger than business B. So business A looks like it's the one to beat. That looks and feels like it's a similar percentage to supermarkets in the UK, where the market's dominated by 5 or 6.
Would you believe? Very similar to that. I would imagine that business A has immense buyer power.
Indeed.
Which means it can negotiate possibly cheaper prices with its suppliers and benefit from purchasing economies of scale. Daniel, this is Edexcel.
Yeah, calculating market share is common. In fact, it's common to all exam boards. Every exam board at A-level business has to have it in the specification. So there we go. Excellent stuff. Well, we've done another calculation. Should we do another application spinner? You do this
I'll do this. Yeah. So how might market research help in launching this is frequently examined on paper one. So we've got a range of businesses there. We want to apply market research. That's wherever it lands on.
The key here is launching, isn't it? Launching. So a business. So there's the context. The business doesn't currently exist. So our application ideally is going to be in that context, isn't it? It's going to mention something about bakeries or gyms. But could we answer in the context of how market research could help launch a gym? So this isn't market research helping an existing gym.
No, it's a startup, isn't it? It's a startup, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you go to a gym, G?
No. No. I don't. Do you?
Yes. And I've got one in the garage as well.
The only gym I go to is when I pop down your house for a cup of coffee. That's it. Okay, so identifying customer needs. So let's put Sophie Max up there. So something that's a great answer. That's a good answer in terms of theory. But what would really make that answer even better? would be, for example, like local competition, for example, such as other health clubs or other gyms, identifying target customers such as fitness enthusiasts. So just try and let's build that application. Specific
done
gym
that.
machines which people may want, or such as the rise of Pilates. So they may offer more Pilates. That is very specific and it's very linked. That so yeah, you know what? Finding out what fitness classes people want is a really, really good answer to that. Yeah. For example, Pilates, yoga.
Sophie D's back with some more application. That is sensational, isn't it?
That's
Market
quite right,
research
yeah.
can help a gym launch a new style of fitness class. So fitness classes. So perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for, to understand possible demand for each class. So just by using the words class and fitness, and maybe hiring staff, or you could even improve that further by saying hiring class leaders or personal trainers.
Exactly. We did a lot of that in the workshops, didn't we, using business and industry specific language.
Let's stick Sam's on. Sam's a good one. There's lots of great ones. Let's stick a few more in. Sam's saying,
average wages. No, that's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because, for example, if you're in an area where maybe you've got a broad spread of income, high earners and low earners, you might decide to target the luxury segment, and that will obviously influence what sort of equipment you have. Whereas if maybe it's a really good answer to that. Yeah.
Jai's picking up how market research could help identify gaps in the market. So you could potentially bring in how market research could help inform a positioning map, couldn't you? A market map for a new business to identify maybe opportunities. So maybe your 2 dimensions, I don't know, are breadth of gym equipment and niche versus mass classes, and see whether there's a position in the market that would help the new business launch successfully.
There's a question there from Stable saying, how would secondary research be useful? Well, you might find some information on general fitness trends in the UK. So, for example, maybe there's a trend for people to, like, maybe people are moving more into fitness classes as opposed to, gym equipment. So you might find some information on that. You might find that if there's growth in the amount of people using a gym, so that would also be useful. That would be useful information.
What's interesting is if you now use things like the deep research in ChatGTP, it basically draws on secondary sources to give you an answer to the question that you need. So that will be absolutely, a new gym owner could get the market research done from a secondary point of view within 30 minutes, isn't it?
Great
There's
stuff.
some great answers here. Let's put U6 on as well. Can allow a gym to research which equipment have multiple use, such as cable machines, to allow for customer satisfaction. Lots of great application going on here, G.
Yeah.
Which is good to see at this stage of getting ready for paper one.
Yeah, sure do. I think we've got another one as well. So we could assess how much competition is in the area, such as other gyms and health clubs. This could help decide the price of gym memberships and opening hours. It could assist with what types of fitness classes to run and what gym equipment to buy, such as rowing machines. So we can just see there we've used 2 techniques that we've used, what we call such as seasoning, and also business and industry specific language. So health clubs, memberships, fitness classes are related to that type of industry. Marketing positions being examined before. So do you know what it is, PF? Anything on the specification is a likely topic. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. It's, you just got to be prepared for everything. So too many people trying to predict questions. The only prediction is you will definitely get questions drawn from theme 1 and theme 4 on the 14th of May.
So rowing machines, you did such as rowing machines, but you didn't say such as elliptical climbers.
I do not spell that.
Right.
So for rowing machines.
Keeping things simple.
Also, I live next to the sea. I live on the coast. So the sea. It's in my blood, Jim. Okay,
good stuff.
We've got a mini case study here. So let's. So independent designer clothing retailer Forbes has grown rapidly over the last 5 years and has relocated to larger premises. The owner, Chris Forbes, is proud of the business's reputation for excellent customer service. He previously managed all aspects of the business, making all the decisions. I think I know where this is going. As the business has grown, he needed to employ more staff to help cope with the workload, and now he has 30 employees, a team of 30 employees. So I think Jimmy's went from an entrepreneur to a leader. Indeed. What are the difficulties Chris may face as he moves from entrepreneur to leader? Now, this has been examined twice before.
Over to you in the live chat to have a think. Have a go whilst we discuss this case.
And obviously, it's on the paper 3 pre-release. Obviously, that context the music industry, but doesn't mean it couldn't come up in paper one. So moving from an entrepreneur to leader. So yeah, Alex, good point. Let's try and get that application in. So yes, the ability to delegate tasks. For example, he's gone from running the business himself to having 30 employees. So that's how we sort of develop our response here. So may struggle to trust other employees. Why may he trust them with what, for example? It's a clothing store. So he could try and build that in. Maybe he doesn't want to trust them to order new lines of designer clothing. So these questions are really quite difficult to get the application in.
Yeah.
So I can just say that the all answers are great. They are really, really good, but they're very theoretically based. So try and let's get some application in there. So yeah, Hannah, you're talking about staff there. That's great. How many staff? It's got 30 staff. So that might be more difficult to communicate. Maybe some of them are part-time. We don't know. But if we say maybe, then that's a hedging word. So it may be difficult to communicate with staff. It's a clothing store, so maybe it's got more staff on a weekend. So that might be difficult to coordinate. Now we're getting some application here. Joshua and Jai. Is it Jai? Have I pronounced that correctly?
Yeah.
So Joshua, Chris Forbes has applied delegation to staff, struggle with less influence on decision making, such as ordering types of clothes. So maybe he's had to relinquish that and let other people, do that. And was it Jay or Jai? Is there?
Yeah.
Delegating tasks
with
also,
delegation.
such as regarding product innovation, what new shirt product lines to buy. So yeah, we're starting to get. Is it Tammy there? I've seen a Tammy there. Sorry, my mic's gone there. Delegating responsibility to 30 staff members, for example, researching current clothing trends. So so I think we're starting to get there. Should we have a look at what we had?
It's the difference between the generic answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any entrepreneur moving from any person moving from entrepreneur to leader to making it specific to the case study.
Exactly. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what we had. So he may find it, he may not, but he may find it difficult to delegate tasks to some of the other 30 team members. So that's application as the business gets too big for him to handle all aspects of running the store. In fact, I could have even put store in red there because actually it is a store, such as ordering new lines of designer clothing. It was a designer clothing store. He previously managed all aspects of the business and made every decision. Therefore, he may not trust his employees to do the things that he used to do, such as providing exceptional customer service and dealing with clothing returns. So basically, because he ran the business himself, he's more emotionally invested in it. Maybe he doesn't trust his staff to provide the service that he prides himself on. Given that he previously made all the decisions, his leadership style may have been autocratic. That is actually application because we're applying the leadership style to the context. Chris may find it difficult to change his leadership style to one which gives more responsibility to his 30 team members. So that just shows you, because there wasn't a lot of context in the case study there, the extract, but it just shows how you can get it, using your knowledge of the overall industry.
Yeah, so it's retail, isn't it? Retail, one location, different departments. So words like departments, maybe we could have used maybe words like shoppers rather than customers. Just trying to think there's not
closed shoppers,
yeah. Designs, different clothing brands, maybe.
Yeah. All good stuff.
There's quite a lot of words that we could have added in that made it about Chris and his fashion store. Love it, really good. I think that's it, G, isn't it, for this session? Yeah,
35 minutes. Yeah, we said 30 to 35.
We did exactly what it said on the tin. So we've got another session lined up at 1:00 on Friday. I think we said
we have, haven't we?
Which will be some different topics, also drawn from theme 1 and theme 4 as we get ready for paper 1. Don't forget, we've done lots of these. I think it's over 500 now, isn't it? So if you want to do some more Edexcel revision, there are lots of live stream recordings that you can go back, including all the ones we've done recently. And also, don't forget, we did some deep dive stuff. I know it's not necessary for paper 1, but worth going back over some of our deep dive stuff on things such as investment appraisal. Don't neglect topics that are coming up the week after next. Keep revising, keep improving your knowledge and understanding of your specification, and all will be good. I think. G, anything before we sign off on this one?
No. So we're just going to do one more paper 1 on Friday at 1:00. Someone's asking about AQA. So if you're an AQA student joining in, we'll schedule those
Sunday.
And announce those shortly. Sunday, aren't we?
Sunday afternoon, we're doing AQA.
4 and 5, aren't we?
We are out and about doing things, aren't we, on Saturday? So, including tutoring, lots of tutoring.
Big game Friday night as well, isn't it? I mean, the talk about Inter Milan, Barcelona, it pales in insignificance compared to Coventry Sunderland, the first leg of the playoff final. How are the lads?
Right. Okay. Well, I'll watch that one. Should be good. So well done, everybody. So keep going. We'll see you on Friday at 1 o'clock. Cheers, G.
Thanks, everyone.